Welcome back. Stassi23 here, back again with some knife therapy. And I was at my local shop, Jim's Firearms in Baton Rouge, Louisiana the other day, and I couldn't leave without getting myself a knife. I almost got out of the door, but he said, "Hey, I got a new Benchmade in." So he had me when he said he had a new knife and didn't have to be Benchmade, whatever. He knows I'm always looking for something new and exciting to show to you guys. And this guy just released, so I figured I'd check it out. That is the 537 GY Bailout. And I don't know if that's like part of the Bug Out series. Got that same grivery handle as on the Bug Out, that same pocket clip that I love. Very, very lightweight. They added a pommel and they lengthened the scale up a little bit. And they also changed this up a little bit. I'll bring in my Bug Out in a second. And let's open it up. And then they also put a Tonto blade. I'm not a Tonto fan by any means. But I will say, after carrying this guy for the last couple of days, it's kind of growing on me. You know, it's still not my first blade of choice. Maybe when I was in the chemical plant industry, this would have been, you know, a good choice for me because we did a lot of stabbing of things, light prying, and that precise point right there for piercing through stuff would have been a big help. One thing that I like a lot about this knife is comes in CPM 3V. I like 3V a good bit. It's got the first production. I'm not a real big fan of first production. I know some people love getting the first production ones. One of the biggest things I don't like on this is this pommel, hammer pommel, whatever they want to call it, lanyard loop pommel. I just think it's hideous. I'm gonna wait for a little while, see if any of the guys who make the scales for these, like Rogue Blade Works and Carbidized or whatever, I think that's what they're called, and see if they come out with a standoff to put right here. I haven't taken this guy apart. I know there's some standoffs in here. There's a standoff, I think, at least in here. And I'm gonna see maybe if I can get it out and do away with it. If I can't and nobody makes one, I'm just gonna grind it off. I don't need it, I don't want it. It's just an eyesore. I have started cutting some things with this. I just wanted to see, one thing I want to check out is this coating, okay? This coating, I think it's a carbonitride coating. It's not no high-end coating or anything, but they seem to hold up pretty well. But it does have a tactile feel to it. And only thing I've really cut up so far is some cardboard boxes. I do plan on putting this thing through a series of tests, pretty much my normal tests that I do with most all the knives that I review, but I plan on, you know, seeing what this guy can handle, because 3V some tough steel, and they didn't run it, they didn't run the Rockwell up too high, so it's going to be extremely tough, at least, even in that thin blade stock, which I like that they went thin on that, especially, you know, I didn't notice I had it in my pocket the last couple of days at all, so light and so thin. But one thing or two things I noticed while I was cutting up, I started out with a pretty thick cardboard box, and I did know, being that this thing feels rather thick, let's see how thick it is behind the edge. I don't know what it's sharpened at, so this is gonna not really be that relative, but let's check it out. I need to do this without looking. I mean, trying to do this behind the camera. Around 23 thousandths. So that's about standard for most Benchmades, and it's not that bad, being that you got the thinner blade stock. Let's see what this blade stock is while I'm thinking about it. Yeah, 0.091. Let's check out, I don't remember what the Bug Out is. Let's check out the Bug Out. So the Bug Out's a little thinner at 0.88, and you have 0.91 on the Bailout. I don't know why they went with a different stock there, but okay, the two things I noticed, I keep going off on tangents, is when I was cutting into the thicker cardboard, I did notice this coating was causing some drag. And at first, I thought it might have just been the edge not being super sharp. It's not hair shaving sharp, but it's a decent working edge on it. And so I had another knife in my pocket that had a factory edge on it, and it was zipping through that cardboard. So this coating it does cause a little drag. It didn't cause much drag on the thinner stuff, just on the thicker cardboard. And I think mainly that's because instead of it splitting like that, once it comes back around, it was creating a wedge on the primary bevel, and the thinner stuff just kind of stays out of the way like that to the apex, kind of like Nero talks about. And that might not be even an issue once I give the edge a nice sharpening job. It almost looks like there's a burr toward this part. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. It's either a burr or they put a micro bevel, and I don't think they put a micro bevel on it. I could be wrong. Let's check out that edge. Is it even? Nah. But that's not something, actually it is pretty even. It's not something I really care about, because I don't care what production company you're talking about. They're never gonna be perfect. They may come close a lot of times, but let's check the centering on this guy. This guy, like I said, is brand new, and it's favoring the right. So let's see, that's centered, and it's favoring the right a little bit, not by much. I don't really care. I'm sure I could probably adjust it and fix it, but not something I harp on. No knives are perfect, not even custom knives. So, if that's something that does bother you, then I don't know. I don't know which company to tell you to go with. I have, the same amount of problems with my Spydercos, Benchmades. I've even had a few problems with my Chris Reeve knives. So there you go. But the second thing that I noticed that kind of bugged me is whenever I was bearing down on it and I was pushing through that hard cardboard, the inside edges of these scales are kind of sharp. Whenever your fat of your finger gets in there, they're 90-degree edges right there. And I don't have the factory bug out scales on here, so I don't know if the bug out was like that. I don't recall it being like that, but it's kind of, no, it's not kind of, it's a hot spot whenever I'm putting enough pressure on there. You can kind of see like almost like a burr from whenever, I guess, they cut it out. Look right there, you can see it all right here. And I think I heard Zach from Zach's stuff here on YouTube talk about it as well. So I don't know, we'll see. I might even end up putting some aftermarkets. If this ends up being a keeper, I might throw some aftermarket scales on it. Mine is starting to smooth out really nicely, especially after I've cut up a good bit of cardboard with it. As you can see, I can swing it shut. Now, it stops about right there. I think it's because the blade's so light. And, I could probably put some lube in there. I'll probably tear it down eventually. But I just wanted to show you all out of box, and it's gotten much smoother. I can swing it shut, and it rockets out. So there you go. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. Let me know what you think about this. I guess I understand why they went with the Tonto, being they went with 3V, just because, you have a more robust tip area. But I would have loved to see, either this or a clip point or, I don't know, a warning. I would have rather a warning over this. I mean, you both have some straight edge, but this one, you got a little bit of, gradual little belly. It's not, completely straight. And I don't know, what is that, American Tonto right there? I always get those two confused. But this scale is pretty much, exactly, I think it's pretty much exactly the outside, parameter of a normal bug out scale. So you can see they added, another ramp up right here, I guess. So if you want to grab it back here doing thrusting motions, you won't slide up on that blade. You got better control. And as you can see, they also, let's see, it kind of seems like they might have accentuated this a little bit. Let's see, maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, I'm wrong. There you go. And as you can see, it's a little bit longer. Oh, trying to do this behind the camera. Sorry, peeps. It's a little bit longer, and you got this dumb pommel. So there you go. It is tip up, left or right hand carry. So that's cool. Especially, you know, being that the axis lock is ambidextrous. Do have thumb studs on both sides. I'm also thinking about putting the blue studs on here just to give this a pop of color. I don't know. What do y'all think? And if possible, I might trade the standoffs if they're the same size. I'll have to measure that out with my calipers. And I wonder if I could put that that back here. Ooh, I might try that. We'll see. All right, guys and girls. Like I said, hope everybody's having an absolutely wonderful day. If you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Please give this a big thumbs up. Share with all your friends and family on your social networks. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.